was bulkier than a Pidgeot. Oh, it's Stowe.
Meanwhile,
Caleb? Okay, what's Caleb running? We're just gonna steal his team. Another freaking Gligar lead? Why is everyone running freaking Gligar in the lead?
Surprise! He got out there so quick.
Don't tell Caleb.
a few moments later.
Let's go! 5-0, 5-0.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We are back with Sunshine Cup, and we had this cup I feel like at least 2 times before this, if I'm not mistaken. And if it's not Sunshine Cup, you might as well call it the Vigoroth Cup, because Vigoroth is going to be everywhere in this meta. And the meta is a little bit different than last time, especially now that it has a buff to dig and aerial. So we decided to run it as well for a very specific reason. A Gligar in the lead with Vigoroth, and then a Shadow Blaziken in the back. This is my first Shadow Blaziken I'm ever running. I've run the non-Shadow in a few cups in the past, but I finally got a good PvP IV one, so I decided to use it. It actually has frustration, but I highly recommend you run either Stone Edge or Brave Bird if you have the option to. But honestly, Blaze Kick by itself is pretty good, so I personally ran it with frustration and Blaze Kick, and it did pretty well. Gligar in the lead was a very specific reason, because it stops safe swap Vigoroth from being effective, even though you have Blaziken in the back. On top of that, you can stay into Vigoroth leads and do fine. This is a super small meta, so we're going to cover the few matchups you'll probably see, but it's very consistent as well, so let's get into it. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. So, to start things off, nothing better to showcase the Vigoroth meta than a Vigoroth lead. And again, this is why Gligar in the lead is really strong, because unlike the flying normal types like Pidgeot and Rufflet and stuff like that, you're not taking neutral counter damage, taking resisted, which definitely helps. I'm still going to swap out at this point too, because the Vigoroth already took a substantial amount of damage, and then I'm going to draw out anything else that Gligar might be good into. This is not particularly one that Gligar really needs to match up against, but I end up going for the baits just so I can get a little bit more chip damage, because most Steelix are going to shield, especially Shadow Steelix at that point in time. So still get a little bit of body slam damage after getting that first shield. And now we're going to try to counter down. Yeah, I'll be debuffed here, but overall it's not a big deal. And then they come in with a Swampert. Swampert's pretty strong, but if it's not the Water Gun Swampert, you're in a pretty good position. If you've seen in my previous videos, you'll know that Blaziken actually does pretty well into Swampert, because the much item is just not doing much, and your counter damage is so oppressive. You can see the shadow damage just coming through, and they're just countering down everything. So, speaking of Swampert, Swampert Quagsire Wish Catch with Water Gun is a huge issue, and that's something I noticed in my battles. A lot of people have been running Water Gun variants for that purpose alone, because it not only beats the Gligar, but it actually beats the Blaziken at this point too. I guess maybe the counter damage, if it's enough in certain shielding situations, might be okay. I don't know. I haven't really tested it out, to be honest, because I tried to keep my Blaziken away from any Water Gun users if possible. I come in with the Vigoroth, and we're just going to go for the CMP. I don't really want to take too much extra counter damage either. I figure they're probably going to shield. And then I think we probably shield and farm down. Yeah, probably the play. I actually come in with the Blaziken. A little unfortunate, because now I'm catching a body slam. So I definitely need to go for some counter down. And you can see, even against a Water Gun Swampert, the counters are really adding up still. And then we get to a Blaze Kick. The question is, can we get to another one? We're going to force the opponent to actually throw their Breaking Swipe first, but I think I have a decent amount of energy, yeah. And so I have the dig ready, and Vigoroth, if I'm not mistaken, is on the lower side of health, and we are able to get to Aerial Ace before they get to their Body Slam. So even against core breakers like Water Gun Swampert in the lead, Water Gun Wish Catch, or Water Gun Quagsire, you definitely have play. I wouldn't say I win like most of them by any means. I think it's probably about 50-50 in terms of wins there, because it definitely is kind of a core breaker, but there's some win conditions for sure. Alright, Victini. You don't see this super often, but honestly, it's just a few things you see often. But it's definitely something you might run into, so definitely something to keep in mind. I like to just shield the first move and then swap out. I already burned both my shields though, so not great. However, Blaziken with this much energy and Gligar with 100 energy is quite strong. And you can see I am forcing my opponent to throw the energy. So I could probably come in with Gligar and grab their first shield. Okay, I don't know, come in with Vigoroth instead. It's not too bad as well, because I can absorb the energy here, and Vigoroth is just so strong in this meta. Like, even against Gligar, which is a technically losing matchup, you can still do quite well. Just the bulk on Vigoroth is so strong in general, and I knew they weren't going for the dig, so I was able to get another body slam off. And they double shield, which is probably the right call, because it's going to do more damage in aerial ace. As you can see, but yeah, we got some work cut out for us because Gligar is pretty bulky. I'm gonna go for the CMP just to take this out. I don't really want to take any more additional wing attack damage because yeah, I want to force the Victini to throw the energy if they can, because we're about to get to aerial ace. We CMP, not too bad though, because they're going to debuff themselves, and hopefully we can survive. Oh yeah, we can get the countdown. We do barely. Close one though for sure. Definitely not a fun lead by any means. Pidgeot. Flyer leads in general, you just stay in. But Pidgeot is a little bit annoying because of the potential Brave Bird or the Feather Dance baits. I end up throwing on CMP. Kind of risky because if they throw a Feather Dance, I just throw only a double resisted or double debuffed aerial ace. But if you throw after a Brave Bird on CMP, then you're throwing against a double debuffed Pidgeot, and that's a good time too. So we do grab the shields. I'm still in a little bit of a tough position because that Pidgeot has a lot of health, and you can see it coming back in. I'm going to throw a Blaze Kick right here, and we're probably going to shield and swap out because they're probably going to debuff us, and so we want to clear that debuff. I have very little health left, but we still get to the dig against the Swampert because, again, this is just not doing much at all. We almost get to aerial ace, forcing the opponent to throw finally. And then, again, we just shield, farm down. I already had some extra counter damage from before, getting to another one, and just barely still eking out the victory. If you don't have the Shadow Blaziken, you can definitely run the non-shadow. And then Gligar, it's a personal preference. I personally like the non-shadow for just a little bit extra bulk because it's just so much nicer, especially into that Vigoroth matchup when you don't have shields up. But that's just my preference. I think the Blaziken, I would say, is a little bit better to have the shadow variant because the counter damage just adds up way faster, and that's really how you take out a lot of these mud boys as well too. And just a lot of matchups where you can just counter through, which is nice. There's another one, obviously, right? Just be able to counter down Vigoroth really, really hard. You just shield once, you get the full counter down. I think I swapped late there. Huh. Yeah, usually you get the full counter down. I think I just reacted slowly, which is not an ideal gameplay for sure. But I didn't know what they're coming in with, so I could have got 2 more counters into that Talonflame. Unfortunately, I did not realize that. But that being said, we grabbed the double shield. So this is a Gligar lead with the Talonflame in the back. It's not something you typically see, right? Typically speaking, if you run into a Flyer lead, you're in a good spot because you took out the main counter to the 2 counter users in the back. But yeah, no, unfortunately not. My timing was awful there because I swapped in. I ended up taking 2 incinerates because it was desynced a little bit on the 1-turn swap. But yeah, unfortunately not able to come away with a win there. Definitely a tougher one, especially run to 2 flyers. But really well played from my opponent there. All right, Tropius in the lead. They do go for a catch, which we just come in with the Blaziken because there's not really a lot of great checks to the Skeledirge. But even resisted Blaze Kick and counters are still doing a ton of damage. And unfortunately, they get to 2 different moves. They get to the Crunch and the Shadow Ball, but you pretty much have to shield everything on Blaziken. It's not very easy to no shield stuff. And then they come in with Steelix, so this is kind of good because we could probably grab the shields. I do throw both Blaze Kicks. We do get a shield on 1, and then they swap out themselves. So that does make things a little bit interesting for me. The Razor Leaf are really starting to add up in damage because It is neutral grass damage, and yeah, it does quite a bit, as you can see. We barely get to the aerial ace though, which is nice. Definitely want to save a shield. Oh no, I don't have shields, that's why. That's why I didn't shield. Okay, we're going to go for the counter down. Leaf Blade doing a decent amount of damage. I need to avoid a Earthquake from Steelix, which I don't think they have the energy for. And they don't, which is perfect, because now we get to the final body slam needed. Yeah, I don't see a ton of Tropius, but I did see one or so. Actually, that was honestly the only one, but there's not that much in this meta, so I'm trying to show as much diversity as possible in case you end up running into it. Alolan Marowak. A lot are probably going to shield their bait, so I just went for the bait, and then I go for the catch, which, if it's a Shadow Bone, it's very nice, and it is a Shadow Bone. No debuff either, so things are looking pretty good. They got, like, at best, they can throw Bone Club at me. Maybe Fire Blast if they're really spicy, but this person's definitely not running that. And we get to Bulldoze as well. We're already up a shield, so I doubt they shield in this situation. They don't, and then now they pivot over to their double. Which is also not too bad of a matchup. I think I come in with the Gligar to get some additional energy, soak up the Body Slam, and then come in with Blaziken. Yeah. Oh, okay. They have the double. That's fine. We were gonna have to shield the Blaziken anyway, so that second Body Slam was gonna have to be shielded one way or another from the double. And they have a Water Gun Bidoof. But again, the counter damage is so oppressive that it is. Yeah, you're able to count them down before they can water gun you down. Either way, at this point, we're just so far ahead. We still have shields. It's pretty much game. That is the Sunshine Cup meta. It's very small. It's a small meta which allows you to figure out ways to play against it much better. If this team works well for you, best of luck, especially because the battles go pretty quick, so you could climb pretty fast with this. I know that for the remaining of this week, we have Sunshine Cup. Of course, next week we have the Open 3 leagues. But the week after that, we come back to Sunshine Cup. So if it's working well for you this week, hey, feel free to run the team back again 2 weeks from now if you want to finish off some extra climbing in Sunshine Cup. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, feel free to give it a like and share. Subscribe for future content. Hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time.